Hi guys, it's Mrs. Winfield Corbett, and today I'm going to show you guys how to create graphs. Okay, this is really going to help you out for both math and science assignments where you're required to come up with data and then take that data and put it into a graph. Okay, so let's talk about how to do this. When we create graphs, we're going to use Google Sheets. Okay, it's part of our G Suite tools. Okay, so if we go ahead and open up a new tab like I just did, we all know about the waffle, which is over here in the upper right hand corner. I'm just going to click on that. And then we have all of our different tools that Google provides for us. Okay, you guys are familiar with the Drive and Classroom and Slides and Docs. Today we're going to talk about Google Sheets. So that's this green icon right here. So when I click on that, okay, it's going to prompt me to open up a new spreadsheet. So I'm going to just click on the plus sign and it brings me to a blank spreadsheet. Okay. Now, spreadsheets are good for uploading data, okay, and noting data. So what we can do is, as you can see, this is much different from a Google Doc or a Google Slide. Here we have different boxes, okay? A series of different boxes that are organized in like grid fashion, okay? So we have A1 that locates this box, A2, B1, B2, so on and so forth, okay? So you can really see why this is good for inputting data, which you have to do a lot of in math and science, okay? So what we're gonna do, if we look over here, I already have a sheet filled out for us that has some data in it, okay? We have some volumes and some temperature values. So here, okay, I just wanna go over how to input information into a cell. So if we click on a cell, that's what each one of these boxes is called. Okay, you can see me clicking on various cells. If we click on a cell, it simply outlines it and highlights it. If we want to actually insert information into the cell, we have to double click on it. Okay, double click. I'm double clicking because I have a mouse. For you guys, that would be the two-finger tap on your keyboard pad. Okay, once you do the click, the double click or the two-finger tap, you'll see that now my cursor is blinking inside the cell and I'm able to edit it. I can add information to it. So I'm just going to add my last value here, which is 250. Okay. And then if I click out of that cell, you can see it's now stores that information. So now I have my values for volume and some values for temperature. An important thing to know is that usually the first column that you make, this is going to be your x-axis, okay? And the second column that you make will be your y-axis values, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. We can change this. There is a way to edit it after we create our chart. But if you don't want to have to worry about editing it later, okay, just keep that in mind, okay? The first column that you make will be your x-axis and the second column will be your y-axis. Okay, now let's make this chart. We have our data implemented, okay? And I just want to use these two columns. I don't want to use this over here, okay? So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we are going to select the cells that we want to use. So I want to use this. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag, and you can see that I've highlighted just those cells. Okay, you can see it's outlined. Okay, I just want to use just those cells. I don't want to use all of this. Okay, so I'm going to highlight what I want to appear in my graph. Now there's two ways we can do this. We can either go to insert, okay, and then you'll see a button here that says chart. If we click on that, you can see it just took all that data that I have, okay, that data that I highlighted, and it made it into a chart for me, okay? And we can either keep it as a line chart or we can change it, okay? We can do a bar graph, okay? We can do a plot, okay? Point plot, scatter chart, okay? They have a variety of different types of graphs that you can use. You can do a pie chart, okay? For this purpose, we're just going to keep it as a line chart, okay? So that's the first way to do it, okay? The second way we can do this, I'm just going to delete this chart. Notice how it's still selected, it's still highlighted. So that first way was to go to insert and then click on chart. If we look at that icon that's in front of the chart, we'll notice that this same icon is right here on our toolbar, okay? So we can also just click on our toolbar, and that way we'll also take our data and convert it right into a chart for us, okay? So now we have our chart. As you can see, like I said, that first column became our x-axis, or our volume values are down at the bottom, and our temperature values are on the y-axis. Now, looking at our chart, if it's good to go and we're satisfied with the way it looks, we can keep it like this. But I'm taking a look at this chart and I don't like some of the things on it. I don't like that. I don't want all of this here. I want to decrease these values because we don't have any data for 0 to 200 for the temperature. So I think I want to take that out. I want to change that. And I also notice how for my x-axis, my values are backwards, okay? The 5 nanometers should be over here closer to the 0, and the 15 should be on the right-hand side over here. So I noticed there are a couple things I need to change on this. And we can do that by going right here, okay? You'll see a button that says Customize. So we're going to click on Customize, and we're going to go and change some of the features on this chart before we use it, okay? So one thing that we can change is just the basic style of our chart. We can change the border color. Right now it's blue. I can change this to really any color that I want, okay? So let's say I want to change it to purple. Okay, you can see now that the outside of the box that encompasses the graph, okay, is now purple, okay? We can also change the background color. Okay, we can make it red. Okay, we can do whichever color we want. I would suggest that you keep it a light color. It just looks neater, a little bit cleaner. Okay, but just to let you know that these features are here for you. Okay. So now our chart and axis titles. Let's take a look at that. Now I notice I have the title of my chart here. I don't want that title, okay? That's the same as my X and Y axis. Let's change the title. I'm gonna change this to gas laws simulation, okay? Because that's what this data was supposed to be used for, right? So what we can do, as you can see, my title has now changed, okay? But I don't want my title here on the left. I think I want it centered. I think it will look much better, much cleaner and crisper. So to do that, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna go to my alignment, click on that. And if I hover over this, toggle over it, you can see there's my center button. If I click on that, now my title is centered. And I'm also going to make it bold, okay, so it really pops. And again, I can also change the font size, okay, to make it a little bit smaller or a little bit larger, okay. I can also change the font style. I can also change the color if I want to, okay, make it pop a little bit more. Okay, so those are some options for your chart title. Okay, we can also, as I said, if we did not put the correct labels in, so say you forgot that that first column was supposed to be for the x-axis and the second column is supposed to be for the y-axis, we can also change those titles. Okay, so if I go to my horizontal axis, you can see now volume pops up because volume is right here. Say I didn't mean to put volume and I meant to put temperature there. I can easily go and I can change that to temperature and see how it changes to temperature. Okay. So that's how we can change our axes if we mess up. Okay. right there. And again, we have the same functions as with our title. We can center it. We can right align it, left align it. Okay, make it bold, italicized, change the font style, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's for our Axis titles. Okay, we can also, a big one, sometimes you might have a legend. Okay, if we had a legend in there, we can adjust that. In this case, we don't have a legend. To adjust these numbers, okay, because we should really be going in sequential order, we can change this. So if we go to our horizontal axis, which is our x-axis, okay, notice there's a button here, okay, that we can click and select that says reverse axis order, okay? If we click on that, watch what's going to happen to my x-axis. It's going to go from descending order to ascending order. It's going to flip. Watch. Okay. Look at how that just changed. So now instead of going from 15 down to 5, now we have from 5 up to 15 as it should be going. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind too. Okay. For our vertical axis, okay, if we click here, notice how it says minimum and maximum values. So say I wanted to start at 200, okay? I don't want to have this big gap here where there's no data given, okay? My data really starts when I get to above 200, okay? So what I can do is I can come here and set my minimum and maximum values. So say I wanted to start at 200. And then I want the maximum value to be 400. Notice how my graph has changed, okay? It's no longer starting at 0, it's starting at 200. I can even change this further and say, well, I want it to be 250, okay? So we can change our range, the range of our axis, okay, by going right into, again, where it says either horizontal or vertical axis. And you can do this for either, okay? Once we have our chart, okay, once we're finished customizing it and editing it and getting it to the point where we're satisfied with it, we can now take our chart. Okay, if we click on it, you'll see that we get the 3 dots. I think some people refer to this as the hamburger. If we click on the hamburger, we can now have a bunch of options. Okay, we can edit our chart, which is what we were just doing. Okay, so if you want to get back into editing it and changing something, we can do that by going to edit chart. We can delete the chart if we just want to start completely over from scratch. We can download the chart as either a PNG, that's the same thing as like a JPEG or a picture, okay, document. So we can download it as that and it'll save right to your Google Drive. We can save it as a PDF document or even as a scalable vector graphic, okay? You'll probably be using either the PNG or the PDF, okay, to download yours. We can also publish our chart to the web. You guys probably won't be using this feature much. Or we can copy our chart. This feature you guys will most likely be using because if your teacher gives you a Google document or a Google slide, you're going to want to be able to copy your chart and insert it into the document or the Google slide. So if we click on copy chart, okay, our chart is now copied. We can go to a Google document or go to the assignment that your teacher has given you. And we can simply come down. I'm just going to come to a separate section of the document. And we can right click, in your case, 2-finger tap, and we can paste the spreadsheet or the chart right into our document. Okay, so if we see here, we can paste the chart with a link to this spreadsheet, which is back here to our original sheet, or we can just paste it unlinked. I'm going to paste it unlinked. I don't want to link it. Okay, and when we click paste, there is our graph. Okay, it is now in the Google document. You can also do this in the Google slide. So if your teacher gives you a Google slide and asks you to access, okay, and we can, just going to delete this out. We can right click, click on paste. Again, I'm going to paste it unlinked, select place, and then there's the chart that I made. I can resize it and place it wherever I need to in my Google slide presentation. Okay, notice how this graph is saved both here in the Google slide. It will automatically save now here in my Google Doc. And I also have the original in my Google Sheet. Okay, so this is how we can create a graph in Google Sheets. I also just want to show you one more thing. Notice how I have two sets of data here. Okay, it looks like the same data. The only difference is that my temperature values in this column have a degree symbol superscript attached to my data values because we're dealing with temperature. Okay. Just a quick reminder. Okay. Superscript means the little digit that's up a little bit higher, okay, than your regular text object, okay? And subscript is when it sits a little bit lower, okay? What I'm going to suggest is you guys not worry about using superscript and subscript in Google Sheets. There is a way to do it. As you can see here, I was able to get it in, but it's very difficult. It's a difficult process to get it in. And when we try to take our data and put it into a graph, when we have anything superscript or subscript, it doesn't register with Google Sheets. Okay, it won't turn it into a graph. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I highlight this and then I go to click on insert chart, what's going to happen is it's going to give me a chart that says no data. Okay, so this is just an important tip that I want you guys to keep in mind. When you're putting your data into Google Sheets for the purposes of creating a graph, make sure that the information in your cells does not have anything that's superscript or subscript. Okay, you just want to have your regular numerical values. You can have a label, so you can put like centimeters or meters or Kelvin or whatever you want to put. Just don't have anything superscript or subscript. Again, this is what superscript is. This is what subscript is. Okay, at least not when you're doing a Google Sheets for the purpose of making a graph. Okay, so hopefully this helps you. Good luck on your first assignment where you have to create a graph and put it into either a Google Doc or a Google slide presentation. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please feel free to rewatch this video or you could email Mrs. Winfield Corbett.